Okay, welcome back. And first of our guest that is going to tell us a little bit about her work is Nasrin Mohitiasli, representing Orizzontale, an architects collective based in Rome, whose work crosses the fields of architecture, urbanism and public art, and DIY practice. Orizzontale, since 2010, has been promoting projects of common relational spaces, giving form to both dismissed and unseen images of the city. These projects have represented the ground for experimenting new kinds of collaborative intersections between city dwellers and urban commons, as well as occasions to test the boundaries of the architectural creation process.
Thank you. Thank you. So thank you for the curators to introducing these interesting topics and the approach that they want to bring here in Timisoara. I will present now rapidly some concepts that I thought they were interesting to address following this brainstorming that we were having together. So Orizzontale, as Alexandra introduced us, we are a collective. I'm a representative of other 7 people. We are really different, but all architects as well. And our actions within the city, it's mainly interested on accessibility as an action to bring back vacant areas and neglected areas of the city and open it up again and giving it to a specific community or to an interspecies of communities together and to form so a public and a common ground. Accessibility in Roma, I want to speak about Roma, so the city from which I'm from, and Orizzontale started his research, is the place of anomaly. Anomaly can have, it's the other concept that I want to present together with accessibility, because anomaly is the cause and can also be the sparkle, the trigger for a transformation and to bring out hidden potential of abandoned places. So the first anomaly I would like to speak about is a space in which Orizzontale didn't act at all, but it represents, I think, an interesting example. It's a really dear spot for us. Because it's nearby our office, and it's also a place that brings the anomaly within. This place is a former production plant called ex Snia Viscosa, in which they produced a larger amount of chemicals. There was an explosion also, so the history is kind of weird. But the interesting part is that this place was an anomaly because it was abandoned. There was no vision about transforming it apart for failure solutions. I don't like to speak about solutions, but for the public administration, the main solution was to have the private ownership has its own vision, and they wanted to create a university center, but it didn't happen. So the developer wanted to build, of course, a shopping mall, on which you see the skeletons on the pictures. The anomaly was that when he started to build up these structures, this spot was closed for 20 years. He dig in the water spring underground, and so a lake came out. So this is an interesting story because this anomaly gave the possibility to start a fight, a battle between the local residents, inhabitants, and passionate researchers around the area to get back this part of nature. Because the other anomaly was that being close to the people for a long time produced this kind of wild landscape within a urban fabric which is really dense and built. So this example is about accessibility and the right to the city for many genres and species. So this is a place of interspecies in which people from the neighborhood, but also far researchers, but also animal plants would like to live together. So I think it's interesting because sometimes it's also a thoughtful vision to not build in some areas. So this is the production on unbuilt, accessible area. And this anomaly of the lake, I want to point out, was taken by the administration because the lake was actually the water quality of this lake is good. So it became a natural monument, and so now is public. So this is is accessible to people. The fight is going on between the inhabitants and the public administration and the private. So this is still an in-between moment. But I think it's really nice to see the in-between because there's no end to a transformation within a context, especially in urban areas. Another anomaly is another place in Roma, dear to us because it's actually is a building. It was public owned. Before there was the public transport. It is a public transport headquarter that was then abandoned by this public authority, and was in the center of a squat by a group of women for 12 years to build up themselves a refugee center for women that were victims of violence, and to start a process together with all the district of Lucio Sestio, and to speak about the right to the city, to females, children, and also to transgender. So it's a trans-feminist space, and it's now the anomaly of this place was that the authority wanted to kick out all these people and find an investor to make it private. But in the end, these elements of this big community that was forming around this spot produced in the end an anomaly in this vision, because this building, since 2 or 3 years now, it's a common good. It was registered with the region, and now it's good for everybody. So it's gonna be at the center of a big transformation of Roma. This is another anomaly, which is another square of Roma, and it's within the process of occupying with illegal small architecture an area, and pushing a little bit the transformation of this area within the years. As Orizzontale, we embrace unplanning also situation. I mean, we make some design, of course, of what we do, but our philosophy is also to give room and keep the space for unpredictable situations, and to leave open space for things that we couldn't imagine, and free behaviors and free interactions. For this reason, every time architecture is a way to adapt, is a tool for the community, for the architect as well to read the context, and for the community together to inhabit a space and give new meanings to a public space. So this area, which is actually a roof of a 2-story parking building, and the anomaly is that was closed for 10 years, so it's an empty land, had this big hidden potential, because within the neighborhood, people were entering inside with their dogs, but also they were organizing their own activities inside of this plot. The plot was all fenced, so this process, we started to make a process around this area, which actually unexpectedly opened the dialogue, opened the space, and then opened the dialogue, an informal dialogue with the space itself and with the community. So in the first years, just a small intervention of opening and giving accessibility to this space to the local neighborhood, forming a big question marks, then made possible the starting of the building site around the area that was stopped and closed for 10 years. So after it, we decided, together with with a group of citizens that formed the neighborhood committee, to build a small installation that was the symbol of the community living in the area, to look at the work site, and to start imagining and start speaking about the area that was about to be built and finished by the private owner. So then there was a big party because the area was finished, but as always there is also an anomaly within it, because this area was just paved, so the private owner could spend a few resources about that. And the anomaly is also that there are no benches to sit on. So we started then to continue to work and to inhabit this anomaly, this time and space anomaly, bringing on temporary architectures that could, again, form a reaction to local regulations. So during the years, we built actually metaphors, because we built an iceberg that was supposed to give, you see the part that is painted, that was done to give space for local communities to organize their own activities, social activities and cultural activities, without having to pay the tax for public space occupation. The same happened in the 2020. And then the last anomaly I would like to cast to you, which was both the cause and then the trigger to the transformation, is Prossima Apertura, that is south of Roma, so it's nearby. And it was a really long-term process, starting from a pit, a big void in a popular and social area of Toscanini district that is a pretty complex social situation. And in this anomaly, again, we decided to start to this paradox that building site and transformation and site and places and areas under transformation are normally prohibited area. Nobody, if you are not a technical or a worker, you cannot trespass it. Even though these places are at the center of the imaginations and the feelings of the local community that inhabit the area. So even though the regulation of public works is really strict, we decided again to inhabit this anomaly. So we wanted to bring all the process that you saw in Piazza Perestrello inside of this pit, inhabiting the building site. So this is another process that I would like to bring to you, because it's how a city can be made together with forming complex bodies of people collaborating around an area with shared objectives, in which public administration, local institutions, associations, people, students can cooperate and can give form to lively and new meaningful public space. So these are some images. This is a really complex project that I won't speak about today. But the area in the end was opened last year in April, during April, and now it's been inhabited by all the people that also contributed to build these projects, as well as casual casual other inhabitants of the area. So in these examples, I think that the word accessibility and anomaly are strictly connected and can bring new transformation and visions within public abandoned plots. And so, for new stories, thank you.